Hi, I just wanted to show you a quick demonstration of Deephaven's capabilities when it comes to simple table operations with updating data and real-time tables. This is the Deephaven front end. I'm going to launch a Code Studio, which is an interactive experience for working with data. Instead of doing it in Java, I'm going to launch a Python first front end. Come on, baby. Okay, so this is a console, a Python REPL. So, whatever. It's a typical Python. I can do Pythonic things here. Yay. If I wanted to, I could, run a little code, little Python code to say is 407. Is 407 a prime number? No, 407 is not a prime number because 11 times 37 is 407. Watching me do very basic Python is probably not what's interesting to you. So I want to walk you through some table operations. I can type into this this console here and get quick feedback via tables that I can view. So the key to Deephaven is always naming tables. In this case, I'm going to go out to the intraday space, the real-time space. I'm going to look for namespaces that are available to me and tables, a particular table that I want. Here's the table API then that I can interact with. This will look a lot like the select and update capabilities of SQL, though it's SQL-like, and in particular it has a lot of enhancements for time series and time manipulations. In this case, I'm going to go look for today's trade date, and because that's a bit of a wider column, I'm going to just look for, or wider table, I'm going to just look for some columns, let's say. So a date, what else am I looking for here? Timestamp. I'm going to rename local code str to be symbol instead, and then I want price and size. And if I don't make typos, the table should show up. Now this is it's a little late in the day, so it's 20 million records, a pretty good sized table. That's not a huge table for us though. We're used to tables like this, like 843 million records, rendered in a browser, super interactive with, one table being able to drive another. So now I just have 1.9 million records there. But going back to my Code Studio, this is not only a 20 million record table, this is a growing table. So if I flip it from bottom to top, you'll see that there's new records coming in as they're trading in the marketplace. So I could filter on Apple, for example. And you'll see, now Apple, that filter being applied. And there's lots of things I can do here programmatically, interactively via the UI. I'll show you how to do this a different way in a second, but let's say we want to calculate dollars is price times size. It'll calculate that, and then of course when we take off this filter, sure enough, that'll be populating for other things as well. Okay, so that's just one of the many capabilities here. We can do roll-ups, we can do tree views, you can upload and download CSV through this, etc. Lots of interactivity both within a table and between tables. Okay, but all we've done so far is just grab raw data. It happens to be ticking data, which is very, very interesting, but that's all we've done with it. Let's just do a little calculation. Let's say we want to take this table and we want to do something to it. So in this case, we're just going to calculate a new column, which is the same that I did by the UI. I'm going to calculate this way, which is programmatically. Sure enough, that table will now repopulate with dollars calculated. Come on, baby. And as I flip it on its head, those incremental updates will continue to propagate for that new column. Okay. And I don't like having decimals there, so I'm going to round this out. Okay. Rather than watch me type, because I'm sure that's already been a painful experience, let's go in and grab a notebook that I made and try and walk things through things a bit more quickly, right? In both these cases, I got the raw data and then I did something to it and I kept the same name of the table. But if I want to, I can create a dependent, right? So in this case, I'm going to create a new table called trade count, which simply says, hey, how many trades have there been for each symbol? And this is really where I think you'll find that Deephaven starts to be pretty interesting. Okay, because essentially what I've done is I've set up a dependency, an acyclic graph of sorts, right? Such that new trades are coming in from the source table to this table I named trades today. And then I've got this downstream dependency called trade count that is updating also. So as new data comes in to these source nodes, it propagates through whatever you've described logically in the DAG. And there can be lots of complexity down here, and it can incorporate both table operations and Python functions or Java classes or third-party modules that you incorporate that gets compiled down with the table operations. It's very cool stuff. This was a simple use case. If I want to see more than just the one aggregation. I want to see lots of aggregations at the same time, and then I want, sort of pretty up the presentation a little bit here across these 20 million records on a single thread. Here we go, and now we have, you can see it's sorted by total dollars that traded in the marketplace today by underlying symbol, and this is all ticking in real time. And I maintain that this sort of syntax, okay, is very easy for someone to learn. Whether it's, I want to get raw data, I want to do basic calculations, even things like, I want a few different aggregations at the same time. The first few times it'll be cut and paste in syntax and changing table names or column names, and then it'll settle in. And I think this way to program where it's imperative, where you can go step by step, is powerful for sophisticated data scientists and data developers, but also for all those people that have a lot of business logic and value to enterprise, but aren't coders themselves. At the hedge fund this was spun out of, literally 100% of employees became self-sufficient and really quite proficient in basic table operations and handling real-time and derived data of all sorts. But doing aggregations or even new calculations on a single table isn't the only thing that a query engine needs to be able to handle. Let's say we also want to demonstrate joins. So the first type of join we want to demonstrate, we're just going to bring in quotes, right? So we have trades on the left, and we have a trade table and a quotes table, and now we want to take that trades table, join it with a time series with the quotes table, and then bring over some columns. And sure enough, that is a piece of cake to do, right? And now we can see that if we have this trades table on the left and we have the quotes table on the right, and then we bring in, let's say, an input filter, so we can say, we want to look at symbols, and I don't know, let's just filter for Apple. Sure enough, we have all of the Apple trades here on the left. We have all of the quotes here on the right, and we have the two that are joined together here in real time, where for each trade it tells you the prevailing mid price that existed in the marketplace and what the timestamp was of that quote that pertained to that trade. So time series joins are designed to be extremely high performance and to keep up with dense data streams in real time. Another type of join that obviously is important for data systems relates to relational joins. So instead of looking at these raw time series, let's look at a bucketed version of that, where we're looking at all the trades of today, essentially bucketed by minute, and then doing an aggregation of the last price for each minute for each underlying symbol across the course of the day. Okay, we now have that record. Again, here's all the, let's sort it like this, and then we could maybe filter on I don't know, we'll filter on Microsoft, and now you see all the minutes of the trading day. What was the last price? If I wanted to, oh, this might be a fine thing to go in and build a chart of that or something like that. So the x-axis is minute, the y-axis is price, and now we can see that. Oh, if I change this to, I don't know, Google, we should see, oh, that's the Google price. We have all sorts of smart downsampling in this, and it will support real-time trading, real-time updates as well. So, again, just little niceties in the UI. But since I have this key of minute that is common across many tickers, right? So let's go to the middle of the trading day. If I grab a particular minute, and now you look at, okay, this is that minute for all these different underlying symbols, I can join identically relationally on this key instead of the time series join I showed a moment ago. So, I'm going to take that table, I'm going to join it for only the events that are spider, and then I'm going to have next to each other side by side, the price of the underlying symbol and then the price of spiders. And, if I wanted to, I could filter on Walmart. And then sure enough, whatever I could calculate. I could just say ratio is price divided by SPY price. And that should work. And sure enough, so there we go. And again, like I said before, if we remove that, then that'll continue to propagate for other things as well. And one thing that I think is important is the last thing I want to demonstrate here is we showed how to decorate tables, how to aggregate tables, which are some of the basics, the fact that all of this continues to take place in real time. But importantly, you can see that, real-time data is coming in there and updating. And we've shown time series joins and classic left or natural joins. We want to show that all of these operations work both for real-time data, but also for static batch data as well. So now I'm doing the exact same thing where I'm pulling in yesterday's trade data instead of today's trade data. And I'm going to do use that exact same syntax, that exact same thing here, right? You can see it's one of two. The other place I'm going to use it is exactly here, but instead I'm going to use yesterday's data, and sure enough, that'll just work, right? This might be a slightly larger table. Okay, so there it is for yesterday's data. And then finally I can show that, I want to take that work product for yesterday and I want to join it with that work product from today. And so that I can both use the same operations on batch and streams in the table form, but also I can merge the two, right? So it's really pretty compelling. I joined them here and now I'll merge. And now I'll merge them here. Okay, and the last thing is it's always fun to kind of see a plot that you can show programmatically. This is again the very basic stuff. So I'm just taking that table from trades from today, and let's make this big enough so we can have a little bit of fun. And then let's say we want to add a linker so that from here, I don't know. If I click on something here, then sure enough, this plot is going to change, right? So again, I could click on A here, and sure enough, that is going to propagate. And again, this is real-time ticking data. Okay, those are the basics. Hopefully, I was able to convince you that working with real-time data is fun and really quite easy, and that the most obvious table operations are extremely well supported. We'll go much further. Deephaven has much more depth than this, but this is maybe the kindergarten and first grade of our capabilities, both the coolness of the DAG and the propagation of table updates throughout it.